We have a very, very good training lined up for you guys. I just got a sneak peek of some of what they're going to be sharing, and it's really, really, really good stuff. These are two guys that have actually, pretty much started from scratch and built out something pretty incredible. So I'm excited to be able to share, and you guys should get some really good, things that you can go do like right now, which is awesome. All right. So we have some Pakistan, we have India. So awesome. All right. Being that you're going to go first, Krishna, go ahead and tell Dami just to sign up with a different email address. I think that's the whole issue. I think his email got somehow, and then I'll go ahead and you can start, and then he'll join and then you can bring out him. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here, guys. So you're here today on the training because odds are you're a non-native English speaker, like you didn't grow up speaking either like British or American English. And so you've got to kind of pick up those skills. And this has been something that has been very, very fun for me because I enjoy getting to kind of give back and kind of help out. And I didn't really choose it, but somehow I got all of these people from all over joining me in my Facebook. And I never really asked for it. I don't know. I joke it's because I'm brown. So maybe I just attracted people that look like me. I don't know. But I've had quite a few people join me and stuff. So it's been pretty awesome. And so in today's training, what we're going to do is we're going to show how, if you're a copywriter, you can improve quickly and pick up some of those skills. I'm sure that a ton of you have been frustrated because it's like you want those clients, but you're just not getting the success that you thought you would get. So Krishna and Dami are going to go over some very, very practical things that you can do to not only improve the ability to sound like a native, but also how to reach out and get clients, which is a very, very big and important step. And then I'll come in kind of at the end because I've hired at least 50 different copywriters. So, many from here in the States, some from the UK, tons from India and Pakistan and Malaysia and all over the place. I've worked with tons and tons of people, and I've brought them jobs and things like that. So I'll kind of talk about from my side the things that I like and that I don't like, and I'll give you some advice on how you can better speak to people like me when you do make contact. So with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Krishna now. So Krishna and I met actually in our Facebook group, I think it was right, because I actually because your comments were so good that I was just like, how do you speak so well? I see you're from India, and then we started to kind of talk from there. So, I mean, that shows you too, the kind of thing, if you just can get your English skills up, it opens so many doors. So Krishna is just a super smart dude. I mean, very, very smart. Don't let him fool you. He's a sharp kid. And he's going to now show you some of the things that he's done to kind of improve. And Krishna, I'll pass it over to you so you can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Mike. All right. So let me know. I'm quickly going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Let me know in the chat if you can see it.
Got it.
Great, great. All right. So in this particular presentation, I'm going to tell you stuff you can do to improve your English. But first, I'm Krishna. I'm glad to see you here. And I'm an email copywriter and marketer from India, like Mike introduced. And in the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to reveal The three pillars you need to focus on to write like a native speaker. Now, these are the same three pillars that allowed me to work with native clients like Ecom Ventures, Woman Ocean, eJam, Ultimate Lens, and a lot of other brands. Like I can't reveal them because of NDA. And Peter Control for a 6-figure ecom store, write promotional emails for a 7-figure BizOp business without getting comments like "that's broken English" or "that's not how we say it" or "not sure, but I can tell you're a non-native speaker." By the way, I got all these comments at the start of my career from different clients. So after I really dug deep into like how to really write like a native speaker, I figured out some stuff and then I doubled down on it, and now I don't get such comments. And I believe that you can too do it by focusing on the three pillars of native English. Now, what are these pillars? In a moment, I'll read what these three pillars are, along with a really powerful exercise you can do to rapidly improve your English. But first, let's talk about stuff that does not work that well. And by that, I mean conventional advice. If you go on any copywriting or marketing Facebook group right now and ask this question like, hey guys, how do I improve my English? You'll probably get an answer which is some variation of watch American movies or TV shows or learn American words, phrases, slangs, yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm not saying this advice is not helpful. It is, and it can work. But I feel it's incomplete and a bit too vague. Like, it's not like you just start watching an American movie and then 2 hours later, bam, you now have 10 new slang words, phrases, and idioms carved into your memory. That's not how this works. So I was always left wondering, like, these people suggest me the stuff like watch American movies and all, but I can't really figure out why I'm not learning stuff, even though I'm doing all the stuff they're saying. I was improving, but I was improving at a really, really slow rate. So and I realized that realistically speaking, you'd have to watch multiple movies multiple times to pick up on the subtle nuances of the English language that would actually be helpful. Not to mention, mindlessly watching American movies or TV shows isn't that helpful in the first place. Why? Well, it's because it doesn't really address the root of the problem. The real reason why most non-natives don't get fluent in English is not because they are not watching enough American movies or TV shows or anything like that. It's because they don't focus on the three pillars of native English. These three pillars work on the root of the problem. So what are these pillars? That brings me to my first question. What are these three pillars? Well, I believe learning native English boils down to these three things. Number one, understanding the culture. In this case, I'll take the example of the American culture. And this is the most important component of like learning native English. And like some people talk about it, but I don't think it gets enough credit. Like it's the backbone of your entire process. Now, understanding the culture means understanding culture nuances, references, etc., etc. And you can do that by focusing on four things. By focusing on major political, economical, religious, and social segments in that particular culture. Example, in the American culture, you need to figure out what are the major political segments, what are the major economical segments, what are the major religious segments, and what are the major social segments. So what do I mean by that? Major political, you have the left wing, the right wing, the libertarian, the authoritarian, blah, blah, blah. That's like the core of it. And then in the economics, you have got people pro-business policies or anti-business policies, blah, blah, blah. I won't go too deep into that. Then in religious, you have got like majority of them are Christians, and there are other religions as well. And it greatly influences the American culture, obviously. And then there is the social segment. Like people, there are certain groups of people who like to behave certain ways socially. So like introverts in America like to behave in a certain way, while extroverts like to behave in a very different way. And you need to figure out this stuff to kind of get an idea of what this culture is like. And then you have to learn what makes these, wait a minute, let me pull this up. What makes these individual segments happy or sad? So like, once you figure out what these segments are, you need to figure out what things will make them happy or excited and what stuff will, make them sad or angry. Once you, start figuring that out, that's when you get like really deep into a culture. So that's culture for you. Now, second pillar is learning phrasal words, common slangs, idioms, phrases, etc. This is the thing which most people, reference when you ask them, how do I improve my English? They say stuff like, learn common slangs, idioms, phrasal verbs, blah, blah, blah. And this is important. That's why it's the second pillar. And the third pillar is sentence structuring. This is something I don't, see a lot of people talk about. Like sentence structuring is all about, it's pretty straightforward actually. How do you structure your sentences? Figuring out what words, phrases, idioms to use in what order to sound more native. Now, what does that even mean? Like, what does sentence structuring actually mean? So you see, the way Indians, Nigerians, and basically any non-native speaker, the way they structure their English sentences is very different from how an American / any other non-native speaker structures theirs. You may be using the same words, you may be trying to convey the same idea, but you'll structure your sentences very differently. That's why Indians, Nigerians, or basically any native speaker who thinks of themselves as someone who's prolific in English might find themselves like looking like an amateur in front of a native client. So if you've ever faced comments like "that's broken English," even though you know for a fact that you are good in English, maybe that's why. Because your sentence structuring is not on spot. Your sentence structuring is not, you're not structuring the sentences in the American way. You're structuring them in Indian English or Nigerian English or whatever country region you belong to. And that's why you might still come across as someone with poor command over English from a native speaker's point of view, even though you're not. And it's not because you're bad at English, but it's because there's a fundamental difference between Indian English, Nigerian English, American English, etc., etc. That's why learning sentence structuring is so freaking important. There is no way a non-native speaker will be able to write like a native speaker unless they have a good understanding of how natives structure their sentence. Now, from my observation, all non-natives who pass the first hurdle of learning all important phrasal verbs, which most natives do, by the way, they usually get stuck on sentence structuring. So like given enough time, all natives would eventually figure out what are the popular words in the American culture. But they'll still not be able to speak like a native because they'll get stuck on sentence structuring. And to make it worse, they don't even realize that it's a sentence structuring problem. Heck, they don't even realize sentence structuring is a thing. Most non-natives do not know that sentence structuring is a thing. Most of them are stuck at phrasal verbs and like all that stuff, which is helpful. But after a point, you need to work on sentence structuring. So because they don't realize that sentence structuring is actually a thing, it's actually a problem, they try to learn more phrasal verbs to fix the problem that's rooted in poor sentence structuring. This just makes the entire process of learning native English much more tough and complicated than it needs to be. And all because they're not trying to solve, they're trying to solve the wrong problem. Yes, like I said, learning phrasal verbs is important, but in a lot of cases, sentence structuring is the real culprit. Sentence structuring is the thing you need to work on to get to that next level to actually be able to write like a native speaker. So how do you actually learn sentence structuring? Well, you do that by practicing an exercise I like to call active listening / reading. Not the sexiest name, I know, but don't be fooled by its simple name. It's hands down one of the most powerful exercises to rapidly improve your English. And here's how I do it. Anytime, and I mean anytime, wait a minute. Boom, boom. Yeah. Anytime I'm consuming content created by a native speaker, be it a YouTube video, a game, an email, Facebook post, Facebook comment, messenger chat, literally anything, as long as it's coming from a native's mouth. I do not skip over a word, sentence, idiom just because I know it's rough meaning. So when I'm listening to them, I'm not passively listening to them. So like if Michael is talking, I won't go like, all right, Michael is saying something. All right, I guess this means this is this. I get the meaning. Let's move on. No, I'll pay special attention to each and every word, sentence, and idiom he used in his sentence. And then, were you guys able to see my screen till now? Can someone give me a confirmation? Because I got a notification which said.
Yeah, we see it. Yep.
Cool. So yeah. So I do not skip over the sentence. And if it's a video clip, for example, if it's a video clip, I keep repeating that sentence in the exact same tone, with the exact same emotions, with the exact same pauses, and if possible, the exact same body language. So if I'm watching a YouTube video by a native speaker, I'll pay close attention to how he's saying his phrase, and I'll keep repeating it unless I consciously register each and every word he said. So I literally mimic the sentence just the way it was said in the video / audio clip a dozen times until my brain consciously acknowledges every single word, idiom, phrase, slang, yada, yada, yada. And the reason I do it is because our brain has a bad habit of making sentences easy for us to understand. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say a native speaker says, yo, I'm going to throw a party by the pool tomorrow. You coming? Most non-natives who are on this call right now would have a decent grasp on English, would have no problem understanding the meaning of the sentence. Like, I doubt any of you are confused, like, what does this sentence mean? No, most of you probably know the meaning of it. But just because you know the rough meaning of the sentence does not mean you'll be able to come up with such sentences on the fly. And it's happened because while reading or listening to a sentence, we don't need to know every single word in that sentence to understand the meaning of it. All our brain needs are a couple of keywords to understand the rough meaning on the sentence. And that's all we actually need. You know, if you're talking to someone on a day-to-day basis, you'd go crazy if you try to decipher every single word they said. Rough meaning is more than enough to carry a conversation. So that's what our brain is trained to do from the very young age, okay? And that's what we keep doing unconsciously, even as we try to learn native English. That's why a lot of people, well, like they listen a sentence and they're like, I understand the rough meaning of it. And they're like, I understand what natives say. I have no problem in understanding natives, but I can't come up with, sentences that sound native. And this is the reason why. You're probably not paying attention to every single word. Your brain is just tricking you into understanding the rough meaning of it and then moving on. So this habit helps you quickly understand the meaning of every sentence while saving you a bunch of time and effort. But so in that way, this habit is actually a good habit because, like I said, you'll go crazy if you try to decipher every single word a person said in a conversation. But this habit, which saves us time and effort, is actually a bad habit, which will put you at a huge disadvantage if you're trying to learn native English. Because when you're watching an American movie, TV show, yada, 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 you'll feel like you understand everything that native speakers say, but for some reason, you can't come up with such sentences when you sit down to write. If this has ever happened to you, now you know why. Now, that's a trap I believe most non-natives, including me, fall for. Like, I remember, like, I struggled for 6 months with this. So, like, I would watch American movies and I understand what they're saying. I understand the context. I understand the meaning. But when I sit down to write an email or a sales letter or whatever it is, I can't actually nail that American tone or American voice or that native voice. And this is the reason. Most non-native people will passively watch a movie, read an email, watch a YouTube video, and think that just because they understood the rough meaning of that email dialogue video, they think they'll be able to come up with such sentences at will, which is not true. It unfortunately takes either a long time to happen. By that, I mean, you'll have to watch, like I said, multiple movies, multiple times to actually make this quote unquote pipe dream come true, or it never happens at all and you're back to square one. You watch American movies, TV shows for a month, and then the next month you're like, well, I'm still not getting better for some reason. I'm not getting better. I'm getting better at a really slow rate. So to fix that problem, I had to pay close attention to every single word, phrase, idiom that's used in a sentence. I also pay attention to the structure of the sentence itself. That's where sentence structuring comes in. And I'll be honest, this exercise can be a bit draining at first, but the payoff is 100% worth it. Not to mention, once you get used to this exercise, it gets less draining every single time you do it. So initially, you'll feel like, oh my God, this is so much work. But then after the 10th or 11th time, it'll start happening unconsciously. At least that will happen with me. Like nowadays, if I watch a video, YouTube video, I have to put very little effort into triggering this habit of paying attention to every single word, sentence, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, moving on to the next slide. I keep doing this exercise until my brain consciously picks up on every single word, sentence that was said in that video or whatever it was. Then I make sure I know the meaning of every single word with the correct context. By correct context, I mean, I don't just want to know the meaning of the word in isolation. I want to know its meaning in reference to that particular sentence. Let me give you a quick example. let's say you're all most of you are copywriters and marketers, right? Danny, who's probably has joined the call, not sure. He's crushing it right now in the copywriting world. He's getting new clients. Awesome projects are lined up, and like the future looks really bright for Danny. So the word we'll use for it is Danny is crushing it. Now, crushing it in this context means Danny is doing extremely well. But if we look at the word itself, crushing it, if you look at the meaning of the word in isolation, crushing it basically means compressing something into a really small fragment of itself. But that's not what we actually mean when we say Dami is crushing it. We don't mean Dami is compressing something into a fragment of its actual form. No, we mean Dami is doing very well for himself. Now, this is an extreme example, just to prove the point, just to prove just to prove my point. So whenever I look at the word, I try to find its meaning in reference to the context in which it was said in. So I don't just want to know the meaning of the word, rough meaning of the word. I want to know its meaning in reference to that particular sentence. I gave you a very extreme example to deliver the point home. But once you try doing it, you'll find that there are some tough cases where the meaning of the word has multiple meanings, and both of them seem to fit in the context. That's where you'll have to pay special. That's where you have to pay special attention to it. And then once I do that, my brain consciously registers that word/phrase in my memory. Now here's one more thing. Just because it has registered that word/phrase in my memory does not mean it has installed it in my vocabulary. To install it in my vocabulary, I'll have to make the conscious effort of practicing it, ideally every single day or every other day or every week at the very least. And I'll have to practice it with the exact same sentence structuring that natives use. So I can't just keep throwing around words every day expecting to get better at English. I have to use that word in the correct structure. I have to pay attention to sentence structuring as well. Sometimes what I do, I not only repeat words, I also repeat sentences. So like entire sentences, I keep repeating them on a daily basis just to absorb that, just to have it installed in my vocabulary. Then I pay attention to
Hello, actually.
Who's that? Sorry. Yep. Is there a problem?
No, you can go ahead. It's just someone.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah. And then I pay attention to it when native speakers use that word, phrase, or idiom. So you might notice that once you actually register these words or phrases in your memory, and then you actually start practicing it to install it in your vocabulary, you'll notice that the next time a native speaker uses that word, phrase in front of you, maybe in a YouTube comment or in a video or in a Zoom call, your brain will remind you of that phrase or word like a faint memory. And from my experience, that's a sign your brain is now slowly installing that word, that phrase in a vocabulary. All right. Now I'll wrap up my segment with this super lame quote. When it comes to learning native English as a non-native speaker, it's your approach that dictates how fast you'll get good at it. Krishna. Now, I told you it was lame. Now, having said that, this is one of the most powerful exercises I know. And I believe this exercise combined with the knowledge of the 3 pillars of native English, you have got a solid foundation. What's this? What do you need? All right.
Sorry, that was me.
So, yeah. So this exercise combined with the knowledge of the 3 pillars, and you're good to go. I believe this training alone would improve your approach to learning native English because it has given you direction. Now you're not guessing what you need to focus on. You know exactly what you need to focus on. You need to focus on culture. And by culture, I mean the 4 segments: political, social, economical, and religious. And then phrasal verbs, which you're already doing. Most non-natives are already paying attention to phrasal verbs, are trying to learn new words. So it's not something you need to pay, do the special work for. And the third thing, and the most important thing, the thing which you covered in this training is sentence structuring. I told you exercise for it. I explained it to you. Now all you have to do is apply it, and I believe it will rapidly improve your English in like because now you know exactly what you need to work on. Plus, I have given you the tools to work on it. I've given you the goal by explaining you the 3 pillars, and then I have given you the tool in form of the exercise that you can do. Now, although it's one of the most powerful exercises I know, I know tons of other exercises as well, which are just as powerful, and one particular exercise that's way more powerful than this one, but can't cover anything here, lol. Can't cover everything here. I hope you found this training valuable, and let me know in the comments. Did you enjoy it? What's your biggest takeaway? And like something like that. Yeah, actually, please note stuff. Actually, we are recording this training, right? So the replay will be available to you for a limited period of time. So you can watch it on repeat, take notes, and all that good stuff.
All right, Krishna, that was awesome, man. People are really enjoying that. People saying it sounds like you're in their head. So yeah, that's amazing. And I know in the course that we have, you go into a ton of this stuff. I mean, your section's huge.
Yeah.
With tons of
guys,
training.
Like if you found this valuable, like if you found this really valuable, because I believe I did my best. Like if you found this valuable, and just know that this is like 5 to 10% of what we go, like what we dive deep in, like in the course. So in the course, there's a lot of stuff. Like, but this alone, like this thing alone, I'll say it again. Take a note of it. Replay is going to be available. Go watch it. Take notes. Apply it, and then kick ass. Okay. Has Dami joined the meeting? He's
still struggling, so I'm gonna go. He's trying to get in, so we're still trying to figure it out. I gave him one more thing to try, so I'm just gonna talk. Let me turn my camera on.
All right, so stop screen sharing.
Yeah, so I didn't make a presentation for mine, so I'm just gonna talk about something that's important to me. So as you guys know, I've been a copywriter since 2006. Dami let me know that was like older than I think he was just born then or something. So I don't know, not that much, but you know, I'm starting to get old now. So I think I'm at that age where I give back. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, even though Mike has not prepared any formal presentation, this guy's got 16 solid years of experience working with some of the best copywriters I know. One of the examples, like the guy I really look up to, Jared. And Jared is crushing it right now as an email copywriter. I really look up to him. And guess what? Mike, this guy sitting in front of you right here, he was the one who got Jared into his teams and like gave him a platform. Like, this is so awesome right now. So you're going to learn from the guy who has, you know, guided and mentored people I look up to. So that's super amazing. And plus, yeah, this is going to be awesome. I'm just going to hand it over to Mike.
Krishna, thank you, man. That's awesome. Yeah, so I've been at it for quite some time, and yeah, I kind of know everyone in the space. I've, you know, been there, done that, so to speak. I've been able to use copy to build several, you know, 7-figure companies, one 8-figure company. And presently now we're growing multiple health companies. We're buying companies, we're selling them, we're doing all kinds of things. And I attribute all of my success to my ability to write ads that convert. Because once you have that skill set, you can do anything. You truly can. And I look at people that maybe weren't born in the States or in the UK or Australia, and you guys have to work even harder. But what I love is I see how much time and how much effort you guys put in. And I see that like you really care and you want to do the right thing and you want to, you know, you guys are choosing a tough thing. You know, you're trying to write ads sometimes for a country you've never even been to or you don't know that much about. And for that, I mean, I really think that's like an awesome thing. So that's kind of why I thought it'd be cool to build something to help you guys to do that. So let's talk about a few things. So I get hit up all the time. You can assume that I you know, people write me, they ask for jobs, they want to write something. And for almost the last 15 years now. So what is it that I look for, right? So in the course, I go into this and I have quite a bit on it, but I'll break down a few of the big things here. And these are things that kind of give you like a cheat code, right? So just think right now you're getting to talk to someone who's your ideal client. That's who you got right here. I'm the person that you're trying to find, that you're trying to talk to, that you're trying to convince to give you a job. So what is it? How can you help? What is it that I want to see from you or hear? And I'll talk about three things, or kind of two or three things. One will be, what are the things that instantly turn me off? And I say, no, this is not for me, right? Because you have to understand if you have 3, 4, 5 people every day that are emailing you, writing you things, my thinking is, how do I say no faster, right? Because I can't spend all my time reading through everything, going, well, maybe they didn't mean that. I'm just saying yes, yes, no, yes, no, right? I'm trying to be fast. And that's how most people like me are. We're very busy. We have all kinds of things going on. So we're not going to just, do those things. So here's some of the things, right? So let's talk about some of the red flags. So that's a great point. Red flag may not be something that right? Krishna, that's the thing. Like, what's that mean? So, here in the US, a red flag is like something to watch out for, right? Something to be careful of. So that's a good example. I mean, since I've talked to you, I've never thought about how many things I say that I don't know why I say them. I just know what they are. But so what are some things that you should avoid or not do? The biggest one of all, and it's just I'm just being completely honest, right? That's how I'm going to be. The biggest one of all is anytime I see any kind of poor English. So if you write me and I read it and it says something like, "Hello, sir, I wish to write for you the copies on the page of which you own." Instantly I'm just thinking no, not because I'm being judgy or whatever, but because I know that kind of copy isn't going to work, because my audience, if they were to read that, would instantly know it was written by someone not from here. And then they would just, they would just think, oh, that's not, what I want, right? That would be the main thing. So yeah, that's a big one. Saying copies, all the time, I get people that say copies, and I don't know why that is, but just never use the word copies. If that could be my takeaway, never say copies. Just always say copy with a Y, COPY. It's one of those weird things, but it's just like a very small thing. So whenever I see things like that, I kind of, turn that off. So, getting Krishna's help to improve English in that way is powerful. It's the most powerful thing. If you can do that, you're going to be set. The other big one, and I don't see this as much with foreigners, which is good, but this is the thing. Don't ever come to me and assume you know what my problem is. So I get this a lot, especially from people from the States though, but they'll write and say, "Hey, I read your site and I see it's not as good as it could be and I can fix it." Many times people have actually looked at the wrong site. They looked at like a public facing site that's very corporate. And so you want to come to people more with the idea that you can help them, not that you know everything and you're going to fix it. Sometimes that can come across, at least for me, that comes across very like ego and kind of like you think you know way more than you do know. So it's okay to fix things and offer help, or say, "Hey, I wrote this for you," or try this out. But don't always assume that you know how to fix things. You may assume the wrong thing, and then you end up kind of not doing anything. The other one too, this one's not as big, but it's a thing that I check for because of the spaces that I'm in, and that is just making sure that if you do submit samples and you send me things to check out, that you're making sure that it's talking to the right audience, but also too, that you're not going too far over the edge with what you say. So I've had people send me samples and it'll be something like, how to lose 30 pounds in 1 week, guaranteed, and don't change anything, so like we can't say those kind of things. So you've got to actually think about, how to write stuff that actually is not going to break the law, or, that's a big thing too. You want to make sure of that. So those are 3 of the ones that I always, that I kind of see it. If I see poor English, if I see people that just assume they know what's going on and they can just fix it without speaking to me first, and then also if they're speaking to the wrong audience or they're sending me things that are non-compliant. Yeah, that's a big point. Harsha brought up something cool too, which is copywriting is not the same as content writing. That's a very big thing. And I've actually had that happen where I've got on calls with people to hire them. And when I tell them what I need, they're like, oh, I write blog posts. So never forget that in general speaking, especially in this kind of tighter space that we're all in, copywriting is more writing ads. So Facebook ads, YouTube scripts, sales pages, landing pages, emails, that's more copywriting. And then content writing is more like blog posts. Sometimes it can be what's known as a white paper, all those kind of things. So make sure you kind of tighten that up. That's something that you should do as well. So now I've talked about what I don't want. Let's talk about what I do want. Like, what are the things that I actually want to see from people? And the biggest one, obviously, is competent writing. So if you DM me or you email me or something like that, what I want to see is that when you write, it just sounds natural and it doesn't sound too forced, or doesn't sound too like you don't have a lot of experience speaking with people from English speaking countries. Like, I had someone the other day who reached out to me because she was asking if she could write a blog post for one of my sites. But just the way she wrote it was very sort of, it just didn't read right. It was like it was almost like she wrote something in her language and then put it through a translation service, because it said the right things, but it was just words that people would never say. It was like, I am encouraged to reach out to you in the effort of creating a blog post for you. Would you find interest in time to consume this email? Just like the terms were there, but the meaning wasn't there. And so that's something that you got to watch out for. And so for me, seeing that, my first thought was, this person can't write a blog post that's up to the quality that I need for my site. The other big one that you want to check out for, that I love to see, and that is like the idea of trust, right? Like, I want people that I can trust. I want people that I know will get the job done. You got to think about it from the business owner's perspective. If I'm going to pay you, how do I know you're going to do the job? Right? So how am I going to ever find you? You know what I mean? What am I going to be like, find, Victor or Lucinda or whatever from some country, right? It's not going to happen. So so there's a lot of trust that has to go into that, because you just don't know. Once you pay someone, if it's not through like PayPal or something, it's hard to ever get those funds back. So you've got to watch out for that. So you've got to come at me with the idea that I can trust you. And the best way to build trust is honestly to have someone else that can vouch for you, that can speak up and say, hey, you've done a good job for me. I was able to pay you, or whatever. So that's also partially why we put this program together, is that we want to have people come through it, go through the entire course, and those that are very proactive, we can probably help give you, some kind of a story to say that, hey, I've been able to review their stuff and they're good or they're trustworthy. That's kind of what we want to do as well, is to help kind of vouch for people or kind of serve as a testimonial if you're more just getting started. So the other big one, the one that business people want to see, and this is really your guys' edge. This is the advantage that you have that most people from English speaking countries probably don't have. And this is the thing that I look for that people do all the time if you own a company, and that is you want there to be value for the money. Okay, so I know this. If I want to hire like a high-end copywriter, I hired a guy the other month. He was from the UK, and I ended up all in, had to pay him $10,000 to write a whole funnel with emails, Facebook ads, the whole thing. So to me, the value is there, right? It's because I'm pretty sure when he's all done, it'll convert and I'll be able to run those ads. But if you were to come to me and you say, hey, I want 10,000, it'd be very tough for me to pay that much because the value is not there yet, right? Either your experience, your skills, all those things, right? So what you want to do is find a way to offer more value than you cost. And as I said, this is your edge. So if you're in a country where $1,000, 1,000 USD is a lot, then that's amazing, because you could easily bring your skill level, your skill level up to $1,000 copywriter, but that may be equivalent to me paying a US guy 25,000, right? I don't know. It depends on what country you're in, but you can do this sort of like reverse arbitrage. So a lot of people from the States, especially, will say, hey, I'm going to make a certain amount of income, and then I'm going to move to a different country where it's cheaper and I'll get by. Well, you guys can do the reverse of that, which is you're already there. You're already in the cheaper costing country. Bring your skill level up to US standards, and you can make a ton that with that edge. Also, the other edge that you have is you can start with some pretty low paying jobs from our perspective here, but make very good income, because maybe it's $20, maybe it's $50. But if you do 3 or 4 of those, that can end up being more. I know Dami, who we're trying to get back on the call, he's having some big issues. I believe he told me that he used to make $50 a month at a job. And he couldn't believe it when people were paying him $50 to write one email. So he was able, now again, we're not promising that there's no promises, there's no guarantees. You have to do everything on your own, obviously. But Dami, for him, that was such a change, right? Now, if you were from the States, it'd be very hard to get by on 50. It's not very much here. Here, that's like you go out one evening and you're going to spend that real easily. So that is where you guys have a big edge. All right, so what I want to do now is I'm going to bring Krishna back out, because we're trying to get Dami in here because he has a great thing to share. So Krishna, I'm going to let you do a Q&A for a bit here, and then I'm going to go try to get Dami back, and I'll be back too.
All right. So you can unmute yourselves or show your faces and then ask any questions you have. I'll try my best to help you out. It can be related to speaking native English or emails. That's where I specialize. If you want to learn more about emails, how to get better at emails, list management, all that good stuff, or maybe how to get your first line and stuff like that. You can unmute yourself, show your face, and like, yep. I see.
Hey, Krishna.
Hey, Barbara. Can you hear me okay?
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
what's your question?
So I think I have the language down, but I'm more of a content creator rather than a copywriter. So I wanted to ask about how I can start with email
Copyright.
copy. Yeah.
Okay. So you're more of a content writer. You have never done copywriting before, but now you want to transition and become a copywriter. Cool. So there are a couple of things. First of all, there are foundational differences between copywriting and content writing, and that's something we need to, you need to keep in mind. So when it comes to content writing, the goal, the main reason why businesses hire content writers in the first place is to build a long-term relationship through articles, blog posts, etc., etc. The job of all that stuff is to show that the company or whatever the brand is, it's putting stuff out, trying to help people. Usually the stuff is loaded with flashy images or nice fancy graphics and nice words. But when you transition to copywriting, you quickly realize that a lot of that stuff does not really matter here, because the goal is very different. Your job as a copywriter is to get people to take some action. It can be buying something or basically doing anything. It can be something very simple like registering for this call, for example. So you quickly realize that the stuff which used to work as a content writer does not actually apply to copywriting. You have to tweak stuff. So number one would be you have to meet people where they're at in terms of their vocabulary. What do I mean by that? Well, you said the language part, you have already got that down. So you don't need to work on that. Maybe something you need to work on is, dialing back your language a bit. As a content writer, maybe you're used to writing complicated, I wouldn't say complicated, but fancy, beautiful words to explain stuff. But as a copywriter, you have to dial back and use simpler version of those words. And at the beginning, it might feel uncomfortable. You will feel like, this is not me. This is not how I write. But that's the thing. The aim of the copywriter is to compel people to take action. And the only reason people will take action is the first step is they got to listen to you. You got to make your voice heard, or in copywriting audience, you got to make your words stand out. The only way you can do that, like the first thing you have to do is to meet them where they're at in terms of vocabulary. You cannot sound super hi-fi or super fancy if the people you are talking to don't use such words. So example, let's say you are writing for a Bizopolis. Let's say you're writing for a Bizopolis, and the people who are there on that list are people who are stuck in their 9 to 5 and want to get out of it, do some business or something like that. These people are looking for a solution, desperately looking for a solution to get out of their situation. Now, if you want to convince them that, hey, this solution is probably good for you, you first have to meet them, because they're not in the mindset of deciphering complicated language or language which forces them to think a lot, because they're already, emotionally speaking, they're already tired. They do not want to engage in a lot of intellectual conversation. They're already tired with the situation. So if you serve them something, in simpler words, you are able to explain them complicated concepts in simple words, they'll eat it and then take the necessary action. So the first thing would be to dial back on your vocabulary, because you said that the language part, you have got that down. Another thing would be specific to emails is you realize like a mistake a lot of beginners do, which I also did, is they try to sell in emails. So if it's a product or a service, they'll try to do all the selling in the email itself. So let's say you're sending a skincare product. You will list out the benefits. The flow usually goes like, generally speaking, the flow on a sales page, on a sales letter, usually goes like, you grab the attention, list out the benefits, discuss the pain points, show them what their dream life could look like, and then sell the product. But when you're writing emails, you do not have, in most cases, you do not have to sell the product. You just have to sell the click. So people read your email, they click at the link, and then that link takes them to the sales page, which then sells the product. So as an email copywriter, your job is not to sell the product, your job is to sell the click. So there are plenty of ways to do that. Troy Erickson, awesome guy. You can use stories, you can use curiosity. I won't go too deep into that, but that's just the gist of it. Another thing I would say is sign up for good email lists. Like if you go on Justin Stiffen Talk Copy, which is a copywriting group, I'm not sure if you are there already or not. If you are not, I would recommend you to sign up, join that group. It's free and it has got tons and tons of value posts from lots of different people.
What was the name of the group?
Justin and Stiffen Talk Copy. Justin and Stiffen. It's a pretty popular group. So you should join that group. And my friend here just shared the name of the group in the comments. Thanks, man. So you just join that group, and then on the search bar, write emails or email copywriting, and you'll get tons of posts which discuss that subject in every way, shape and form, all the way from swipes, how to get better at it, like almost everything. So so I guess that should help you out a lot. Time to move on to the next speaker. Let me know if that was helpful, Barbara. Thanks.
Yeah, Krishna, we're still not able to get Dami in. So it's something's going on with his system, I guess. He just cannot join. And we've tried every setting that there is. So I think we'll just probably have to start wrapping up here. And I know he's got a lot. So I think we're going to do another call. So maybe that's the answer.
Yeah.
We'll do some more trainings.
On Saturday, we'll be doing another call. So we'll try to get Dami get there and complete his segment on Saturday.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So I don't know what happened or why, but he just cannot get in. So what I want to let you guys know about is that we do have, I think really the first of its kind ever. This is the first course that I've ever seen. And what we've done is we've taken training from Krishna, we've taken training from Dami, and we've taken training from me, and we sort of combined it into this one course. And we're calling the course is called the ABC method. And we call it ABC. Go ahead. You can, go ahead, and he'll put in the sales page so you can see it. We haven't even opened it. This is the first time we're actually opening it. We've had 4 people that kind of snuck in. I don't know how, but they're already in. We already made 4 people have already involved in. But the course here, what it's about. Sorry, let me hear echo. Let me mute. Okay, everyone's on mute. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're getting. We've kind of put this course out there. You can go there to see the page there. But why we call it ABC is because it actually stands for something. So what the A is to acquire a native voice. So Krishna focuses on that. That's his whole thing, which is how are you going to make sure that when you write, you really sound like you're from a native speaking English country. So as Krishna said, you can crush it and not crush their skulls, but do good. That's one of the odd things that I've always thought about. All the things in my culture that say you're doing good are all negative, like crushing it, killing it, smashing it. It's like all like hurting things. I don't know why that is, but everything's very violent. It's very violent things. So what the B stands for, so we have the A is acquire native voice. That B is to build a freelancing system. And Dami is the man with that. He has come in from zero and just build out an incredible system. He can show you exactly what to email, what emails to send, who to send them to, what to say. He's got a very, very good process. I know someone reached out to me who was trying to land a client. He got on an hour-long call with Dami, and within a few days, he emailed me to say, thank you so much, I got my client. And guess what? That interview, that training is in the course too. So you can actually see someone who did not have that much experience and see how they went about getting their clients. So that's incredible. That's part of the course. So that's the whole section on how do I get clients, which is what we all want, right? More clients paying us. And then thirdly, the C, which is my part, I go over the C stands for create an unfair advantage. And that's where I go through all of the different things that, like I kind of spoke on, what do I look for in a, someone who's trying to come get me to pay them. I walk through the whole entire process. So I show you what you say to me, what I say to you, how you should respond. I give you all the things so you can get the insights of an American business owner, so you know how to speak to us and what we're thinking behind the scenes. So it's truly an incredible course. And because obviously we realize with currency exchanges and different cultures and different things, we did everything we could to make this really, really inexpensive. We try our best to make it affordable so that anyone from any country can afford it. So I really hope you enjoy that and go and check it out, because that is too, I think it's a very, very good course. I was trying to read the chat here.
If Dami, we'll be doing another training on Saturday. It will be more like a Q&A call for the course. So, and we are thinking of like shifting Dami's segment to Saturday's call. So if you guys hop on Saturday's call, you'll get the Q&A and Dami session at the same time, which is recommended. Yeah. So we're not canceling his call. We are just rescheduling it because of technical difficulties.
Yeah. So that's what I want you, go check out that sales page. And cool thing, you'll see that sales page was actually written by Dami. So you'll kind of see the skills that he has, and just remember that he started just like you started, no different. He didn't have any special skills. He wasn't, he had to learn and improve his English too, so same thing. But that'll show you, if you put in the time, you put in the effort, you'll be able to achieve some pretty cool things. So I'll put the site in there again too. If you want to just type it in as well, it's copywriterbrain.com/ABC. So if you go there, that'll take you directly to the sales page.
I can share my screen and show them,
please go ahead.
That would be perfect. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep, I can see it.
So here's a brilliant sales letter written by one and only Dami Aziz. So brilliant headline. They said I couldn't write good copy because I'm not a speaker. But here's I proved them wrong. And like this entire sales page. This is a video, and this video will go over every single thing that we cover in this course. So like it's like quick sort of demo of this course, what do you get in this course and all that. So in this course, like I said, I gave you a short demo of the exercises, the stuff I focus on. And let me tell you one thing. What I revealed today is just probably the first or the second video of the course. That's it. There's a lot more content in the course. Like if the ones who already have it, the ones who are on the early buyers list, they have said some good stuff about it. I'll just keep it at that. I won't spoil a lot of stuff for you. So here's a sales page. Who is it for? If you're a non-native copywriter and have some experience, but your English needs improvement so that you can make more money working with native clients. So if your English is already like kind of good, but you're not there yet, this course is perfect for you. But if you're like someone who's like really, really terrible at English, like you don't you're not even a point where you can, form basic sentences, then maybe this course is not for you. But I'm assuming since most of you are already on this call and talking very fluently in the chat, I'm assuming most of you fall in this category. So yeah, this course is like perfect for you. And then we go over the biggest thing, trust. By the way, this is something that Dami was going to cover in his segment. He's going to dive deep into it, which we'll cover on Saturday. So make sure you hop on that call on Saturday. We'll be sharing the link in the Facebook group. And then here Dami and I share a bit of our stories, like how we realized that how important English was. So, and then at the end, we tell you why no one is talking about it, because we literally said this is like probably the only course of its kind. There are courses about that cover the topic of how to improve English, but they are very, should I say, like they're very different kind of courses. They either are too formal, so like they cover office English or something like that, or too casual, like you can learn it, but it won't really apply to you as a copywriter or a marketer. This course is specifically meant for copywriters and marketers, and you'll see why once you start going through the course. And I already gave you a demo. Like no course, I believe, dives that deep into psychology like this course. And yeah, by the way, there was this guy. When I was recording videos for this course, he's a good friend of mine who reached out to me and he wanted some help with English. So he asked me, dude, what should I do? I gave him one exercise. It wasn't even actually an exercise. It was just a simple tip. I gave him that tip. The tip was one of the many tips from the course. Just gave him that tip. He applied it. And here's what has happened. He was working with a client and he asked him that if his English sounded native or not. And his client said, your writing was great. I was almost thinking this is a conspiracy and you're secretly living in America writing as a native writer. So like I'm pretty happy for him. Probably that guy is on the call right now. If you're listening to it, good job, man. Good job. Then the next section is all about building out a freelancing system, which Tammy covers. Again, we'll be covering a bit of it on the call on Saturday, so make sure you hop on that. And again, like Mike said, we did we helped this guy Ayub. Dami hopped on calls with him, showed him exactly what to do, and this guy was able to get a client, all thanks to Dami's thing, all thanks to Dami's system, and with our help. Like this was one of the most brilliantest moments, because if I remember correctly, like if in my early days, like it seemed almost impossible to land clients. Like it was a pipe dream. Like if I landed a client, oh, that would be awesome. And this guy was able to do it in like 30 days or something. Like pretty sick. And then the third one is create an unfair advantage, which Mike will be covering. And like it goes over every single thing you probably need to know to like it. He's going to reveal some really some red flags which you need to watch out for. Make sure you don't do these mistakes, and some 5 important traits you need. He looks for in a copywriter. These are simple, but damn, they are powerful. I've seen his slides, and damn, it's powerful if you apply that stuff. And now the next step is like you put all this together, and we have the ABC method, of course. Now and then at the end, we talk about like all this stuff. Actually, when we were making this course, we were discussing like what should we price it. And honestly, if we were doing courses like these, if we were to sell it in the American market, it would easily go for $200, $100, and that would still be a steal. Like that's just the baseline. Like that's just the bare minimum courses charge. But of course, we can't do it, because we are not positioning it in the native market. So we brought it down a little. $100 would still be very reasonable. But then we thought like we should make it like almost a no-brainer deal. So we brought it down to like $50. And I was like, $50, maybe $50 is fair enough. And then eventually we settled on to $37. And now we are like you can get your hands on it right now for like $19. Who's this? Can you please turn off your microphone? All right, so you can get your hands on it right now for like $19, and this is a very like this price is not going to stay for long. We are thinking of closing the cart soon on it. So if you want to get the course, if you like what you saw in this video, and if you want to get the course, you can get it for $19 right now. We'll close the cart soon, probably in 5 to 6 days or something, and then we'll review the first round of feedback, and then relaunch it again at a much higher price. Because honestly, $19 is like no brainer for this kind of stuff. And on top of that, for some reason, if this does not work for you or you do not see any changes whatsoever, then we also offer full 60-day 100% money back guarantee. So the way it works is, if you take the course, apply the stuff that we teach you, and do not see any progress or any significant results in 30 days of implementing all the stuff, if you do not see any significant progress, then all you have to do is like email us on you'll get any, all you have to wait, who's this? And all you have to do is email us and you'll get your money back. So not only is like, who is doing this?
Yeah, it's Sam. I'll stop him.
Yeah, so if it is already $90 already a no-brainer, but to make it an absolute no-brainer so that you can take action right now, we have also added up 100% money back guarantee, like 60 days. 60 days, I believe, is more than enough time to see if this course works or not. So yeah, $19, you can't go wrong. 60 days money back guarantee. Give it a try and see if how fast you improve. If you want to check it out, we have already shared the link in the comments, or you can simply search like copywritingbrand.com. Michael has shared the page of shared the link of the page in the comments. We'll also be sharing in the Facebook group, so look out for that. And yeah, check it out. If you think it's the right fit for you, buy it, because it's like the cheapest it's ever gonna be.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be going up, and we will be we will probably be turning it off at some point. I'm trying to mute some people. Cola, can you mute if I can? It doesn't give me the right to mute. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this is I think is the best deal you're gonna ever find out there. There is no other program teaching it, and we said like we want to keep it as cheap as we can right now. I saw someone ask about PayPal. We don't have it on the site, but if you wanted to pay via PayPal, you can reach out to me and I can set that up to you. So you can just email me. I'll put my email. Don't send this for PayPal, but email me here and I can help you with PayPal.
Also, does this focus on English or copywriting? No, it's strictly meant for non-native copywriters who want to work with American clients. It does not focus on copywriting. There's not a lot of copywriting content. So no, it's not a copywriting course. But it will help you work with American clients, because like I said, English, if you do not have that down, like there's no way. Like it does not matter if you're the greatest idea guy in the world. If you can't express it in words which natives understand, I'm sorry, but it's not going to work out. So yeah, it's not a copywriting course. It's strictly meant for English, freelancing strategy, and ways to stand out. You can check out the sales page if you want more details.
All right, so I think that's it for now. We'll email out too, and we'll get more. We'll send out the replay. I have to get it all set up, but we'll do that, and we'll also see you guys back here on Saturday. We're gonna have more training, and so we hope that'll be good for you. But right now, go while it's fresh on your mind and grab this course. It's going to be something that you really want to look for. It's something that I think will really change you. This will be like before the course and after. You're going to really see things that you just didn't know before, and it should open the door for you to get a lot more jobs. So I'm very, very pumped, and I'm very, very grateful to be part of this and to be able to help out. So just go. The site is copywriterbrain.com/ABC.